Hi there and welcome back. Another little PA video. This you can certainly do on PA4X. I'm pretty certain you can do it on PA1000, etc. as well, but have a look for it. What we're going to talk about today is the drum mixer. Now, I know, and you know, that we can go into the ordinary mixer and we can adjust the EQ of the drum sound. We can add some reverb if we want, but we're doing it to the drum kit as a whole. When you look at modern day recordings, or, you know, even going back a few years, every drum instrument within the kit will be treated differently. If you remember in the 80s, we had this thing of these sort of gated echo snare drums in all those big pop ballads, you know, think Phil Collins, things like that. The snare drum would be treated as an individual instrument, not within the drum kit as a whole. Well, we can do that on here. And the rhythm I've chosen is called Funky Disco. Let's just... Now, at the minute, I'm hearing all the accompaniment parts and that going on. When we get into the drum mixer, I'll show you how we can just solo the drums so that we can concentrate on what we're doing with the drum sound. To access it, all we need to do is press the menu button, and along the top row we have one called Drum Editor, and we're going to go into there. Now, let me show you, to start with, a common mistake that may happen. You're going along your individual drum sounds here and they're all grayed out, and you think, well, how do I actually select them and why are they grayed out? Well, they're grayed out because at the minute on our little mixer section down here, we're looking at upper one. Well, that's got nothing to do with the drum kit. So we need to change our little tab down in the bottom right hand corner to say style, and we need to choose the drum kit, and lo and behold, they all light up. So we can now start adjusting the feel of every single drum instrument within the kit that's being used. The other thing I would normally do at this point is to press the little S to solo the drum kit. So now I can hear the drum kit and I can play it in real time, but I'm not having it mixed in with all the bass and the guitars, etc. First thing I'm going to do is choose the snare drum. So we press the picture of the snare drum, which highlights it. We have a volume control. Now we have EQ controls, high, mid and low. And this will make a huge difference to the sound. At the minute, the EQ level, the high EQ level rather, is set to -3. So it's quite dulled down. Let's say we want to brighten that snare drum up. We would add more treble to it, or high EQ. So what I'm going to do is start the style running. I've highlighted, and it highlights in orange, where the high EQ setting is. And all I'm going to do then is turn the wheel while the drums are playing in real time and hear the difference. Now, I've taken that right high just to exaggerate it a little bit, but I hope that's coming through on the audio mix, that you can actually hear we've altered the tone of that snare drum completely. I'm going to do exactly the same with the hi-hat. So I'm going to bring them more to the front of the mix than having them in the background. So high EQ at the minute is set to +3. Sorry about that. Set to +3. So let's run it. And again, I'll take that up to a probably too high a level, but just so that you can hear the effect. So now, as we're running that rhythm, the two instruments that are what I would call in the front of the mix and to the forefront are now the snare drum and the cymbals. We talked about the 80s a minute ago. We have some ambience control, and that's a little bit like a form of reverb in a way, and it adds ambience to the drums. So I'm going to go back to the snare drum, and at the minute, the ambience volume is set to 0, and the ambience time, how long that ambience goes on for, is set to -5. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn the ambience volume up. And again, please understand, I'm exaggerating this just to show you the effect, but obviously you would do little fine tuning. So now let's play the rhythm again. Now again, we've altered that snare drum. It's got that little bit of ambience reverb on it, if you want to call it that. Now let's boost the ambience time up, the amount of length of that ambience that's on there. Okay, now we really have gone 1980s, but hopefully you're starting to see that you can, by taking each individual drum instrument, you can actually change that style quite considerably. Don't forget as well, you often have a second drum track called the Percussion Track, and you can always check what's on it by just soloing that track. Don't forget to actually highlight it so it's got the orange box round. Otherwise, if we did that, all the adjustments we're making are still on the gate kit ambience there. I need to alter the Latin percussion kit, so I need to put the little orange box around it. Let's solo it. Now, it may be that on variation 1, you see, all we've got is just one little instrument. By the time we get through to variation 4, now here we've got the congas and we can hear the cowbell there. So again, we can alter that. So let's choose our congas there. I'm going to boost the low EQ a little bit as well. And let's put it all back together. Totally changed it. Now, it doesn't have to just be on a disco rhythm. Have a bit of fun with it. Just experiment. Often it's just the snare drum, maybe, and the cymbals that you need to change a little bit. Great little feature, and that is found in menu, and it's called the Drum Editor.